So all I'm asking you to do is find the angle between each of these pairs of vectors. The last couple are a little bit more trickier because they're in I and J and K notation, but I think we can deal with them. That's fine. Okay. So okay, let's work with this. Okay. So U and V, first thing that we need is the dot products between these two vectors. So dot product will just be U dot V, which will be equal to, now by the way, when you're working with this, I advise your first line to just be writing out what the dot product is. So in other words, 7 times 8 plus negative 5 times 4. Like, write that out first, and then you can stick it in your calculator afterwards if you want to, or you can do it in your head, like I'm about to, which comes out as 56 minus 20 is 36, right? Okay, so that's U dot V. Now we just need the modulus of U, or the length of U, okay, which will just be 7 squared plus negative 5 squared. Square rooted. Okay, which comes out as 49 plus 25, which is 74, good. Square root, 74. And then we do modulus of V, or length of V, which will be 8 squared plus 4 squared, square rooted, which should be 64 plus 16, which is square root of 80, isn't it? And you can simplify it if you want, yeah. Square root of 80, okay? So therefore, cosine of theta, again, just put all the pieces in the right place. So cosine of theta should be, well, the dot product of U and V, which is 36, divided by the length of U, which is square root of 74, multiplied by the square root of 80, the length of V. Okay? And then to find theta, you just take the cosine inverse of all of that. Did we get an answer? 62.1 degrees. Perfect. Okay? Now, of course, I knew I was looking for an acute angle because the dot product was positive. Okay? So I knew that I was right there. So it's just an extra check that you can do. Okay, let's do this one then. So first things first, we need A dot B. Similar kind of thing. So 8 times 4 plus negative 3 times 2 plus 0 times negative 1. So this thing should come out as, well, 8 times 4 is 32. Take away 6, that's 0, so that's 26, right? Yeah? So again, I know that my answer is going to be acute. So I'm looking for an answer between 0 and 90. Okay, let's do the length of A. Length of A, so that's going to be 8 squared plus negative 3 squared plus 0 squared, square rooted, which is 64 plus 9, which is 73, right? Square root of 73. And therefore I can do length of B, which is 4 squared plus 2 squared plus negative 1 squared, square rooted, which is 16 plus 4, which is 20, plus 1, so that's square root of 21. All happy? Okay, so therefore cosine of theta, in this case, will be equal to the dot product, which is 26, divided by the product of the lengths. So square root of 73 multiplied by the square root of 21. And then theta will just be the cosine inverse of all of that. So did we get an answer here? 48.4, thank you very much. Okay, let's just quickly go through the I's, J's and K's just very quickly. So, okay, this thing, a little bit harder because you just need to make sure that you've got the right I's and J's that you're multiplying. So if you prefer, you're totally fine to put these into column notation. That would work. Okay, so that would work like that. Okay, so therefore P dot Q would be equal to 8 times 4 plus 6 times negative 1, which should be 32 take away 6 was 26 again. So again, I'm looking for an acute angle. Length of P should be 8 squared plus 6 squared, square rooted, which is what, 100 to 10? Square root 10, square root 100. And Q, length of Q should be 4 squared plus negative 1 squared, square rooted, which is 16 plus 1, which is square root of 17. So again, cosine of theta should be the dot product, which is 26, divided by the products of the lengths, so 10 root 17. And theta then will be equal to, if you take the cosine inverse, what will it be equal to? 50.9 degrees. Okay? And then finally this one, I've thrown this one as a little red herring because you notice you've got a j component and a k component in the first vector and an I component and a k component in the last vector. So you just need to make sure that you're doing the right thing, okay? So, okay, let's try this. So C dot D. So C dot D, you multiply the i's together. So this is 0, 0i, times by 3, plus -1 times by 0. So there's no j component over here. And then the k components multiplied together would be 1 times 7. So it's really just 7, right? So again, positive, I'm expecting an acute angle. So let's do length of C quickly. Length of C will just be -1 squared plus 1 squared, which is square root of 2. And the length of D will just be 3 squared plus 7 squared square rooted, which is equal to square root. It's 58, yeah, good, well done. Sorry, I was trying to rush through. So what do we get for theta? 49.5 degrees. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?